Brother, the portcullis has been breached. The 1st and 2nd regiments have fallen, and the stone summit has raised their flag over Thunderhead Keep. My king, the fortress is taken.
Sound the horn of retreat, Breknar. We will cut our losses and regroup.
Get yourself to safety, brother. Deldrimor cannot afford to lose its capital and its king in the same day.
Guards, with me. We are leaving.
So I opened today's video with a little bit of a cutscene of something from the Shiver Peaks. Now, honestly, if ArenaNet end up releasing somewhere in the Deldrimor front after the Fire Island chain, you may see that cutscene again. But why is it appropriate here? Well, because for part 2 of our tour of the original Fire Island chain, we actually have some stuff relevant to one of the characters you just saw in that cutscene, a dwarf named Breknar Ironhammer. So straight away, if you guys didn't see part 1 of this tour, it has some cool trailers, some cool little blends of different things in it. There's a link on the screen you can check out right now. But for those of us who are all more than familiar, let's roll straight on in. So today, we're going to finish Guild Wars 1, basically, which is quite a novel, fun idea. We're going to complete the final 3 missions in normal mode. We're going to do Ring of Fire, then Abaddon's Mouth, then Hell's Precipice, and just cut to the good stuff. First to do is have a look at this new location we got to at the end of the last episode. That's the Ring of Fire. The large volcano, it says, at the center of this ring is where the gods reportedly dropped the legendary bloodstones before leaving Tyria for good. Of the volcanic islands that surround this one, many are still active. Ships that pass by the ring report hearing the telltale hiss of scalding hot lava hitting the ocean, instantly vaporizing the salt water into stream. It's an interesting description because, really, according to the map art, we're not actually on the final island where the final volcano is yet. We're still on one of the outer islands. And in fact, the quest dialogue that we had leading us here seemed to suggest we weren't even really on the Fire Island chain yet in some respects. But yeah, so we're now here at the Ring of Fire. And don't forget that when we arrived here, we came with the dwarves. So we're going to basically see the last of them now. Here's a guy called Foxguard Axe Mighty. He says this. He says, "The great dwarf never meant for my kind to stand this close to lava. A few more hours out here and I'll resemble a Dolyak stew." Now, the thing that I find quite interesting now, looking back at this content and the fact that there are dwarves here, is there's so much like subtle, almost dwarf story going on in Guild Wars 2 right now. You know, we're talking a lot about going back to the Deldrimor front and the southern Shiver Peaks, and that's all dwarven related and stuff, and Primordus is related to the dwarves, and even the Fire Island chain, funnily enough, also had some dwarf influence, at the very least for a very short period of time. This small window into history we're looking at right now. So you seem particularly grim, even for a dwarf. Apparently dwarves are grim. He says this will not be easy. And we say we're prepared for a fight. He says the Mursaat are aware of the Flameseeker prophecies. They knew this day was coming. They have been preparing for it for years. What the Mursaat know is that they are going to be destroyed by the Titans. So they've been preparing for it. And we're trying to release the Titans right now. We don't know that the Titans are bad and will indiscriminately slaughter us all, but we're basically trying to finish the prophecies. We say, if the prophecies are true, then I've been preparing for my entire life. Then there's little more that can be done. You know what you must do. The Mursaat know what you intend to do. Only fate and the will of the great dwarf will decide today's outcome. We can ask him, do you believe in the prophecies? He says, well, let me tell you, I wouldn't be standing here at the base of an active volcano sweating like a griffin haunch over an open fire, preparing to assault the most deadly, heavily guarded fortress in all of Tyria if I didn't. Remember, whatever lies inside the door of Komalie scares the Mursaat. But all of this, the walls and the bunkers, they weren't built to keep something from getting out of the volcano. They were built to keep someone from getting in. No matter how frightened they are of the creatures behind the door, they are more frightened of you. That, my friend, makes you about the most dangerous thing in Tyria. Pretty cool, right? Like, I've never really thought about this specific interpretation of it, but yeah, I guess they're not just scared of what's going to kill them behind the door, but they're scared of us. What must we do? Take the beach, plain and simple, and don't get yourself killed. So, the dwarves are going to help us do that. Let's head on into the mission, shall we? There's not too much to say about this outpost, really. It's just a small staging area before we get deeper into the Ring of Fire Island chain. So, let's do it. And here we get an excellent example of shoddy Guild Wars 1, prophecies at least, storytelling. You guys thought Belinda was bad? What you're watching here is like Belinda Alpha, okay? So what just happened there was a key character essentially died. Or he's in the process of dying. So Breknar, that dwarf from the cutscene, essentially he's sacrificing his life right now, and it's really hard to discern that that's exactly happening. So basically, he ran off in the background here. There is no way for us to get the dialogue except for looking over him and reading the little chat boxes as they come up. So be my guest if you want to go back and rewind the video and pause, guys. But basically, Breknar stands here in the first couple of seconds of this mission, and he says, oh, I'll distract these horrible Mursaat, who, by the way, are really easy to kill. And he runs off on his own, killing himself. He screams for the Great Dwarf, blah, 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 and he helps us take the beachhead. There's no audio for it. There's no voice dialogue. There's nothing. That is about the bar that Prophecy set for some of its storytelling. And that was like a named character we'd seen in cutscenes before. Pretty sad stuff, right? So, I mean, when you feel bad about how Belinda was treated in Guild Wars 2 and how it felt like a really, really awful way for a character to go, I would just remind you of where we came from and situations like the Breknar situation. That's happened so fast and so weirdly, you might not even realize it's gone on. It's even worse that, to tell you the truth, you can kill those Mursaat that are there at the start, just accidentally. Because you can charge in before they go running off, especially in hard mode, where you can just aggro them blindly. And not only does Breknar die anyway, but he dies for no reason whatsoever. That's a big member of the Deljamor Dwarves right there, and that's the end of his story. So great. So in the previous video, I talked to you guys about how there were Mursaat here on the Fire Island chain, and indeed there are plenty. Generally, these are going to be the same varieties we fought on the Shiver Peaks. Later on, ArenaNet got much better at like tiering enemies up and stuff, and especially in Nightfall, we would be finding even more devastating Mursaat, but I think these are generally the same. I think what they were going for here, by the way, was some kind of awesome D-Day style assault. Maybe if there was ever a remaster of Guild Wars, they'd be able to retell this properly, or it would be a good idea for a Guild Wars 2 based bonus mission pack or something. There's even a Reddit thread on that quite recently, but that's not really what we're interested in today. You get past the D-Day moment, and you get to another one of these. So I want to talk about these now, guys. These are the Mursaat Towers. Let me just flag my team away here. And these are what we've been seeing in the trailers for the upcoming content, I believe. So in the trailer, you can see on screen right now, you're watching the ruins of some Mursaat architecture or something, it would seem, or presumably Mursaat. But some elements of it seem okay, they seem intact. And what I think we're looking at are remainders of these towers. So the Mursaat set many of these up. There's a reasonable amount of lore about them. Apparently Eidolons, the creatures the seers need you to kill to infuse your armor to protect you against the Mursaat. Apparently Eidolons feast from these. You can often see their shining light into the sky and like hovering jade above them. And they're all protected by an ether seal. So ether seals are kind of like glyphs that the Mursaat will cast that will activate various constructions that they have. So stuff like the Mursaat bridges and drawbridges and gates and things that you can open, they're all sealed by ether seals that you, the player, have to destroy. And the other thing about these towers is they sap energy, majorly sap energy, which is funny to me because they seem to be related to souls, and souls seem to be related to energy in a big way lately, and energy with the towers and blah blah blah. I don't know, it seems to be hinting at something maybe. But as you'll see, when I come in range, I lose a lot of energy, and indeed my entire team will lose a lot of energy. So you really want to kind of blow the seals up quickly. Generally the seals are very tanky. Again, my team comp's quite absurd, so you can't quite tell what the proper balance of this was. But these are really tanky, and they regenerate a lot of health. So, generally speaking, players would struggle against seals for ages and try and dip out and get some energy back and then charge back in and quickly try and nuke it down. It just so happens we do a lot of armor ignoring damage, so we don't really have to worry too much. We get a bit of a branch in the path here. I'm actually going to go along the beach here and kill these drakes, because I want to show you guys the bonus, which I think we can find up here. Get a couple of nightmare spawns. These are also enemies we never saw before, but kind of just fall into that ghost category. There are some more varieties we'll find, like imps and so forth. But yeah, I'm going to cut it as we run along the beach, and I'll see you guys in a second. Look at this. I love the architecture. It's so cool. Man, this is some serious Fire Island looking stuff here. Oh, yeah. Okay, so here we go. This is the bonus, and you'll notice there's an ancient seer here. So this is pretty interesting. This is actually the exact same seer that we had found in the southern Shiver Peaks just a chapter earlier that had been in that cutscene and helped us initially infuse our armor.
You are the Ascended Ones the Dragon Glint has spoken of. Come in. Come in. I've been expecting you.
Now, there is going to be another one as well in the final mission in the Ring of Fire and Chain, and it's unclear whether that one is also the same as this one, whether this is the same one that Zin will perform an autopsy on much later in the Crichton Civil War. Who knows? But the bonus for this mission is actually a second opportunity to get infused on your armor, which is kind of interesting, actually, because it'd be quite hard to get here without infused armor, but I suppose if you have a backup set. So if we click her, or him, or it says we meet again. I have tracked I'm not going to try and do the voice. They've got awful voices. I've tracked another Eidolon to this location. It feasts on the arcane energies of the Mursaat Towers, as I explained earlier. It lurks underground, wallowing in the residual magic, but if the towers were destroyed, the creature would reveal itself. Destroy the Eidolon and bring me its essence. So we can say we'll take care of it. And that's the bonus objective for this mission. If you guys are totally unfamiliar with Guild Wars 1, essentially in all the main missions, there's like one bonus thing you can do each time. When I originally Let's Played the game, I actually never showed those bonuses off. So this is the first time for my channel, which is kind of cool. So now that we've got that and we found this hidden little location, how about we go back to the main area of the mission and I'll show you guys just how short this quest specifically is. Here we get one of the regular mechanics of the Fire Island chain, by the way. I may as well point this out because it could be a bit of a thing in the sequel, perhaps. You get lava pools, and you actually have to walk through the lava pools. Oh, in the background there, you saw a Mursaat boss cast Spectral Agony on an Etin and blow him up. You have to go through these, and they put massive degeneration and slow you down. You don't really want to be fighting enemies while you're in lava pools like that. It's kind of one of the big things. You've got to be careful with your aggro and so forth. And here we go.
The Mursaat have covered the volcano with potent anti-magics. Even now, I can feel them draining my power away. I would suggest we find another way around this fortress. The Mursaat are prepared for an assault of this door. Best we do not strike at their strongest point. We head for the top of the volcano. Be on guard. We are growing close. The Mursaat have no intention of allowing us to reach our goal.
Okay, I love, by the way, how he talks about how they've guarded it with potent anti-magics, and then we see them fending off against Wind Riders, which are absolutely magically based in a big way. It's kind of cool. That's actually kind of an interesting cutscene from the Vizier there. It sets up what this mission is supposed to be, and that's that they've got a huge fortress defending the entrance to the next island chain, and it's too difficult really for us to get through. So what this mission actually does is it sets up alternate route through the Fire Island chain to bypass trying to attack the front door of that fortress, as you can see there, which is quite immense and has got lots of ether seals, massive energy draining, just awful, awful, awful hell and destruction and death all around it, okay? However, because of the balance of the game, as time's gone along, generally speaking, it's actually much easier to attack head on now than to go the alternate direction. So up here through this little cave, that is the way the quest kind of wants you to go. But it's a long, long, long way around. The Prophecies missions were anywhere between half an hour to 40 minutes most of the time. And as you'll see here on Toolbox, if you look at the map, it's a long, winding road that takes you all the way around, all the way up, and then finally you can loop back behind the fortress and bypass a lot of the stuff. But it's actually quite dangerous over there too. There's lava spitters, these kinds of spiders you just saw. There are fire imps over there which do lots of damage. Instead, we're just going to attack head on and we're going to just destroy the damn base. We're going to dismantle it straight up. We're going to take out the left seal, then the right seal, and we'll get in as directly as we can. Will we see the ruins of this stronghold in the sequel? Considering it's not named, I doubt anything we find will be too explicit. You've also got the question of, so you see here I've got no energy, so it's a little bit harder to fight, so we're going to regen up. You've also got the question of, okay, if the first map is called Ember Bay, does that mean we're only going to get to, over here, and the grassy area we saw was somewhere up here, and that's about it? Or maybe is that actually going to include this area too? That's what I'm most curious about with the next map, like where exactly it will cover. And so here you can see ether seals on this door, okay, 2 of them. And so what's going to happen is we have to break these seals. We've broken one already, now we're targeting the next one. And once these seals break, you'll watch that the door opens. And that's kind of the way that the Mursaat defend a lot of their stuff. There you go, so we've opened the main gate to the Citadel guardhouse now. So now that we've opened it, the Mursaat are going to be a little bit angry. We're going to get charged by a few jade bows and things. But we're infused, we're too OP for them. We'll be perfectly fine. So we're just going to go inside. I'm going to sweep the area. And now, as you can see, I'm pulling back a little bit because I'm quite scared of him. Now that we've defeated all the ether towers, the ether seals that are in there, the Eidolon for the bonus has actually spawned. So this is the same kind of creature as we fought in the Shiver Peaks. I'm not sure whether it's exactly the same. So we're going to blow him up. And when we kill him, you'll notice he actually drops a spectral essence. And with this spectral essence, just like in the previous mission in the Shiver Peaks, if we run all the way back to the seer and hand it into him, we get the bonus complete. So I'm just going to cut that out so you guys don't have to watch the walk. I'll be 1 second. And so here we are. He says, you have no more armor I can infuse. You are now on even footing with the Mursaat. Destroy a large concentration of towers and the Eidolon will come looking for more arcane energy. When it rises, it will be vulnerable. That's weird that that dialogue's still there. You saw the shield pop up. That's the completion of the bonus. And you get a real perk to that bonus as well. Again, because you could just equip new armor before you do that and get a full set infused again. Alright, all that we've got left now, guys, is just to walk through that courtyard where I killed everything, and then that's the mission done. So here's the seal at the back of the courthouse, opening the way to the next island. That gate over there would have been the way we came in through the back if we'd attacked from that option. Here we've got Eidolon the Displeased, very classic sounding Mursaat. We get to click this lever, lowering the far gate, and all that's left is to just cross the bridge now. I do love these kinds of bridges. I hope these come back. These look so awesome. It's weird to think about in Guild Wars 2 as well, wherever you'd have a situation like this, where there's some kind of a bridge or something, you can actually just swim. And this, guys, is the end of the mission. We're now on the next island, and you'll find this little area here, which actually, I believe, serves as the outpost for the next little fight we're going to be doing. In the center of this small courtyard, I guess, that the Mursaat have set up, we have Malek the Virtuous, who actually has Energy Surge himself. That was the guy I had to kill all those years back to actually unlock that skill. And killing him triggers the final cutscene, which once again references Breknar, that you may have even forgotten about way back at the start with the D-Day thing.
Do not grieve for the fallen. They have passed into the next life.
I love this. They put him on his own little coffin. We're going to give him a pyre.
Somewhere in the rift, deep within the great forge, Breknar Ironhammer begins his long journey to the Hall of Heroes.
The Hall of Heroes, which is very rarely referenced now.
Godspeed on your journey, brave dwarf. May the heroes of old call out your name when you join their company.
Breknar has given us a gift. The gift of his life. Let us not squander it. The prophecy is upon us. We make for the teeth of Abaddon's mouth, for the door of Komalie.
So, Abaddon's mouth. Abaddon is probably a word many of you guys respect and understand. But the funny thing about Abaddon's mouth, though it was a mission in Prophecies, this was probably originally written as just a nonsense random word that didn't actually mean anything. Kind of like Komalie, kind of like some of these other terms. It's funny, if you look at the Guild Wars Nightfall making of DVD, they talk very specifically about when they were deciding where to set their next campaign, or how they would choose where it would be, what it would be, and that they looked to existing lore to maybe find some inspiration. And that existing lore that they took was that of Churai Ossa, and the I believe Palawa Joko had been referenced in the Crystal Desert as well, and that these were the things that they'd kind of chosen. We're going to be drunk for a second or two in game here. But the funny thing about all of that is, I think that Abaddon's mouth was probably a big part of it too. Abaddon didn't mean anything at the time. It was a bit like them using perdition over here. I think Abaddon was just kind of, what is it, a Hebrew term for the devil or something? It's something like that, all right? Or it's like an Arabic term for the devil, or somewhere along those lines. I remember learning about that when I used to watch Lost, and they had a character in Lost called Abaddon. But regardless, now obviously we know why it's called Abaddon's Mouth, and I think that when they made Nightfall, they did a really, really good job tying it all together and explaining why there is a portal here and some of those deeper meanings. So let's read the outpost description. The largest volcano in the Ring of Fire Island chain, Abaddon's Mouth is rumored to be the gateway into the underworld, but only demons and devils would dare enter the fiery chasm. All others risk being burned to cinders before even getting to the magma's edge. Now, again, remember what I said in the previous video, where we had the abominations, and the abominations seem to be related to the underworld? Well, maybe the truth is that just back then, during Guild Wars 1, before Nightfall came out, and they'd even thought of the Realm of Torment, everything in the mists around there, that idea, that was the underworld. I'm not saying they never had conceived of other realms, they obviously had, but I think the original idea for this portal was that it led to the underworld, not that it led to the Realm of Torment. And then that maybe changed ever so slightly. I mean, they say almost as much there. You can maybe just pass that through the vision of ignorant humans, though, at the time of this release, I guess, or something. Because Abaddon and his realm, I suppose, there as well, had been completely stricken from the records. No humans knew about that. So they would probably just refer to this as a portal to the underworld. Here we've got Blade Warrior Olivia, and as you see, no more dwarves really around. We might find one in the last outpost. But Blade Warrior Olivia says, you have made many allies from across Tyria. I'm proud to be among them and to have come this far with you. I am at your service. Olivia, I believe we met as a member of the Shining Blade a while ago. The name rings a bell, but I really can't remember the specifics. What do you know about the Door of Komalie? I know that it's the most treacherous part of the volcano deep in the caldera known as Abaddon's Mouth. I know that behind it lies the only chance we have of defeating the Mursaat. What do you think's behind there? He says, I've heard of the legends, but I can't honestly say for sure. It's apparently strong enough to withstand the heat of the volcano. Whatever it is, it frightens the Mursaat so much that they're not willing to take any chances with it. The legends? What legends? As the story goes, behind the Door of Komalie is a gateway to another realm. Some say it leads to the Hall of Heroes, others say it goes farther than that, penetrating deep into the mists, deep into the sanctum of the gods and their angelic disciples. Wow, what an exciting idea of what we think we're doing right now. How much further to the door? Not far now. We're about halfway to the caldera, but this may be the most treacherous stretch of land you've ever encountered. Between here and Abaddon's Mouth stands the Onyx Gate. I've not seen it myself, but it's the Mursaat's most highly guarded outpost. This is one of their last lines of defense. If you can make it past the gate, then all that stands between you and your new allies is the Door of Komalie. What must I do? Make your way up the volcano into Abaddon's Mouth and open the door. Kilbron will show you the way. In many ways, if the Titans had turned out to just be nice guys and allies of ours, in many, many, many ways, this would kind of be the end mission of the game. This is the moment where we get up to the door, and this is the moment when we open it. So let's see how we go, I guess, here, guys. And let's jump on in. By the way, I'd like to point out another kind of Mursaat structure and thing before we go any further. Now, these pods, okay? These are what I believe the White Mantle in Guild Wars 2 have been using to rebuild and reanimate the Jade construct and then eventually soup them up as well. You actually see several of these at different times opening up, exploding into enemies, into the Jade constructs. Not all of them do it, but some of them do it. For example, when you kill Marcus, the ones around him in the Shiver Peaks turn into Jade constructs of various sorts. So I think that this is what, in 250 years, these remaining things that the White Mantle will find, and then they'll actually repurpose and manage to start working again. You may have noticed that was a ghost merchant there as well. So behind us is just the area that we just came from and the previous parts of the Ring of Fire. Here we see a bunch of burnt down trees. It's weird to think of when these were last growing. More precedent, I suppose, for in Guild Wars 2 if they do go with some lush greenery. And the Vizier is going to come to us straight away and put an amazing buff on us, which I'm going to try and make as much use of as possible. He says, our allies await, but the Onyx Gate guards the main passageway into Abaddon's mouth. And this is it here. He says, I'll cast an enchantment to help you break through their defenses, but its effects will not last long. Make haste through the Onyx Gate. I'll meet you on the other side. So the Vizier is just going to teleport around. What he's done is he's put an enchantment on us, which makes us move 50% faster, which is bigger than pretty much any movement buff that you usually get in Guild Wars 1. All your cooldowns are 50% faster. All your cast times are 50% faster. It's ridiculous. But it only lasts 2 minutes, so you want to make as much use of it as possible and kind of just YOLO your way into the fortress and do as much damage as you can see that I'm doing right now, killing massive amounts of jade bows and things that are up on the sides of the flanking the wall, trying to shoot you out. So we're going to push our way in. The Onyx Gate, as I say, maybe it's just the name of it. The flavor of this gate I really like. The idea of big walls and fortifications, I feel like, has always been a big part of Guild Wars, or to me it has at least, because I started with Ascalon. I started with the Great Northern Wall against the Char and the destruction of that. And it's kind of like Prophecies was bookended by the destruction of two great fortifications, okay? First you had the Great Northern Wall, and now you've got the Onyx Gate here. But what this does is it encircles the entire place. And you see on the map here, you've got sort of these rings, kind of Orient even looking. Those kind of arcs are various layers to the gate, or to the wall that they built here. So we actually have multiple layers that we need to get through. So I'm going to try my best to make as much of this enchantment as we go. And you'll see you've got some soul batteries here. That's genuinely what they are up here. These are the things that the Mursaat had once upon a time positioned all around the Bloodstone in the Maguma jungle, and presumably some other ones. We do not see these in Guild Wars 2. They look really freaky though, and they've got ether seals attached to them. If you break the seals, then you smash the soul batteries. The souls presumably escape, and you can, you know, dismantle various fortifications. So here we've got another group of Mursaat. Oh my god, those guys got seriously nuked. Jeez Louise. We got two bosses here, Willa the Unpleasant and Ken the Relentless. There's actually my favorite Mursaat of the franchise in this mission coming up. Featured as a boss, I think on 100% spawn. Hopefully it's 100% spawn. I've talked about them a great many times. The suggested leader of the Mursaat, Lazarus, has never really been my favorite. He's been one of those interesting things like, oh, I hope they do something with the story, don't get me wrong, and I'm really happy that they are. But in terms of like favorite Mursaat, I think that my favorite is actually in this mission and has not been seen or heard of since this mission, because guess what? We're about to kill the bastard. So that's the exit down there. You can actually see that we'll go deeper off into the Fire Island chain. There is a little something else though, a little bonus place that you can visit while you're in this part of the fortification, and it's down this ramp here. So I'm just going to clear some enemies and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So basically you can break through this gate. I'm going to be a little bit careful here of over aggro. So you can break through this gate and you'll come to a small dock over here. This dock is where you trigger the bonus for the mission, but in terms of telling story through the environment, this is one of the better places that Guild Wars 1 did it. This actually will appear in the final cutscene of the game. You see that boat there? There is no dialogue or anything really to suggest it right now, but that boat is the boat that we will take to flee the Fire Island chain. This is presumably how many of those other forces got, like the Mursaat, got to, and some of those White Mantle maybe, the Fire Island chain without using the portal. But there was an ether seal here breaking open a soul battery, and out pops this woman. Now, she's called Leah Stone, and here you got a bunch more soul batteries here, by the way, tied up. That's the environmental storytelling. I've got to keep up with Leah here, otherwise we're going to fail the bonus, so I've got to get moving. But basically, it seems that this is where they were shipping soul batteries in and out of what's just north of here. The Maguma jungle. Look at how cool that is. It's excellent, right? Really, really, really cool. But so the bonus for this mission is you actually free this lost soul from one of them. And she specifically refers to that. So, she says, "Thank you for freeing me. I was killed on one of the bloodstones by the White Mantle. Presumably..." Oh my gosh, I think she got hit by Spectral Agony there, and that was awful. That was very scary. Presumably, what we're talking about here... Olivia, heal her up, Jesus. Is the Maguba Jungle Bloodstone. But she says, "My spirit has since been trapped for quite some time. Alas, all this dark magic is draining my soul's energy, and I do not wish my final resting place to be here. There is a small island to the west that reminds me of the fields of Loamhurst. If you take me there, I can at last be peace and away from the pull of this vile place." And the Vizier just popped up to us, by the way, in the middle of all of this. He says, "The Mursaat know you are the ones to fulfill the Flameseeker prophecies. They will do anything in their power to keep you from reaching the Caldera. So we have to be very careful of that." And they're gonna keep attacking us. I think he may have re-enchanted us again, by the way, so we get to do OP damage and stuff again. But yeah, so the fact that Leah says she's from Loamhurst. Loamhurst isn't a place that Guild Wars 2 players will recognize. It's a small village though, and it's a place you go to when you're a member of the White Mantle in Guild Wars 1 to do with the Chosen. So Loamhurst is a pretty big place in Kryta. That's why I think she was probably just one of the Krytan Chosen that got rounded up and killed on the Maguma Bloodstone. She doesn't look Krytan necessarily. She looks kind of a bit more Ascalonian maybe. But still, I don't think that they're necessarily trying too hard to be consistent with that kind of stuff. So yeah, we actually, here, we get to escort her. Now, what I'm doing right now is really risky. We're actually doing the bonus on the first time through the mission. So she's going to go charging into unimaginable hordes of monsters. The way most players throughout the history of the game will have done this is they will have cleared the path first, then freed her from the soul battery, and then come and escort her, and that's fine. What we're doing is crazy YOLO. We're letting her charge into bosses and Hydra and trying to kill them on the fly while fighting in giant pools of lava, just because we know we can interrupt the hell out of these kinds of mobs. She's only level 15. She's super squishy, and she dies really easily. So again, to give you the perspective, this is the end of the game. This is supposed to be really hard. So she's charging along. The reason I'm showing you this bonus is this actually takes us to the nice place that I talked about on the Fire Island chain quite recently in some videos. There are some very rare areas. We saw one already in Perdition Rock, where there's a bit of grass and there's a bit of life and there's a bit of nice stuff going on. And that's where Leah wants her final resting place to be. I actually think a really cool thing Guild Wars 2 might do is bring this little island we're traveling to in this bonus with Leah's stone back and have her spirit there somehow. Be able to communicate with her or see some relic or artifact in memory of that. That would be really, really awesome. So this area is pretty out of the way, and it looks quite open, and it looks quite safe, right? But we're actually moving into pretty dangerous territory here. These are the grounds homing some of the most deadly creatures on the entire Fire Island chain, and I'm expecting one of them to pop up any second now. There you go, there's the island. It's just there in sight. We've got to keep with Leah. We've got to choose the path that she chooses, even though she's just gone off and aggroed all those Driders up there like a moron. Now, by the way, just FYI, there's another way you can do this bonus. It's a bit of a cheeky bug. The way that Guild Wars works is technically, if you don't get within, like, just greater than radar range of where enemies are, they don't actually spawn at all on the map. Maybe it's an optimization thing, maybe it's a thing about patrols and consistency or whatever, but it's some tech that Guild Wars 1 has in the engine, and what it actually means is that if you spawn Leah without ever coming to these areas, and then you just don't walk anywhere near where active enemies are, she'll just run along these places completely unharmed. And that's and she'll just complete the bonus for herself with no risk of any enemies ever being around. You just have to stand at the docks and wait for long enough. So here we've got 2 bosses to fight at once. Another Eidolon, though there's no seer in this mission for you to use it for infusion or anything, so don't worry too much about that. And we have a bear moth. So bear moths were a thing that kind of came back in Heart of Thorns. I thought we were seeing them in the trailer for a while. They're rooted enemies that spit at you an awful lot. That's a ranger boss plus the elementus there, and we just sort of blew them up. But yeah, you can even, funnily enough, unless there is a seer in this mission and I'm just not aware, you can pick up the spectral essence. That really does suggest there should be a seer there, right? Somewhere? So that you can deposit that meaningfully. But yeah, as you can see here, we're on the island. I guess it's more of a peninsula than anything else. A couple more crag bear moths. And there we go. Right at the end of the bonus, we have an abyssal worm, and it's probably going to kill Leah here. Leah's going to take massive damage unless we can stop it. If he gets like 2 more attacks, one more attack and she's dead. Oh, no, she died. Oh, we failed it right at the end. Are you serious? Oh, that is some BS. I can't believe that. I can't believe that Olivia couldn't heal him enough. There's demonstrating the power of the worms, I guess, at least. She's only level 15 and stuff. Ah, I had no way of interrupting or anything. Ah, that sucks. Maybe I could have washed worried, but it's not a boss. Anyway, check it out. Look at how badass these things are. These will pop up and annihilate anyone around. It's unfortunate that Leah ran on ahead and I wasn't ahead, because otherwise he would have popped up on me and aggroed on me, and then he wouldn't have been attacking her in the first place. But to complete the bonus, all she had to do was run here to these nice little flowers. There you go, and a very Crichton looking tree that of course would remind her of home. And that would be the end of the bonus there. She'd say, thank you, I can rest here forever. You get some really shoddy looking LOD there. Oh, there you go. If you move close enough, it sort of moves in range. And yeah, there's even a bit of a shipwreck there. So I would love to see this place referenced in Guild Wars 2. I really, really, really would. That's the bonus for Abaddon's Mouth. Let's, once again, go finish the mission quite quickly. See, all we had to do was just arc in to some of these fortifications. So let's go do that. So you can see the walls, once again, built into the lava. Okay. All right. So there's a very cool boss we're looking at right now, and that is Mursaat the Smug, this Mesmer here. Mursaat the Smug, as far as I remember, was one of the 3 Mursaats to have been present way back at the original Char invasion of Kryta a few years ago, okay? So she actually was one of the Mursaats who have accosted and taken Saul. She knows, this NPC right here, this boss right here, knows one of the biggest secrets of the franchise right now, and that is what the hell happened to Saul. She was with Lazarus, and she was with another Mursaat when that moment occurred, and the Mursaat revealed themselves to be, you know, arseholes, basically. She's next to Salik, the judge, and then finally we've got a regular Mursaat monk with them behind. We're going to blow the hell out of all of them, because they're evil and we hate them, and, you know, it's our duty. And then we're going to blow the hell out of all of their construct friends over here as well. Oof, white dye, nice. That's a rare drop. Man, okay, thank you. I'll be sure to pick that up. But so as we break through, oh, come on. Don't tell me that my favorite Mursaat is not here in this mission because they didn't spawn. I think that might have happened. Oh, no, that would be awful. Oh, no, here he is. Here he is. Here he is. Thank Christ for that. Okay, so here we get more pods, more threat, I think, of more pop-ups. I think that actually at some point they might have designed this so that these did all become pop-ups, but then it got removed. And on the back there, you can see we've got Cairn the Destroyer and Optimus Caliph. That is my favorite Mursaat. Optimus Caliph is one of the only Mursaat in the entire franchise to not have a regular name like Lazarus the Dire, Mursaat the Smug, and so forth. His name is Latin, and it seems to suggest he's somehow the supreme leader or something. He, again, was there with Saul, and he is the last Mursaat defending the door of Komalie. Beyond Optimus Caliph is nothing but the caldera of the volcano. He's the last one, the final line of defense, the final Mursaat, really, at the launch of the game, for us to have slaughtered, aside from a couple that are in the encounter in a second, which we'll talk about. Another thing I want to point out is we got this Bridge of Souls here. Again, more connecting Mursaat to souls. I think the more that they set up Mursaat as manipulators of souls, the more awesome it is actually that they're defeated at the hands of the Titans. Why is that? Well, because the Titans are just tormented souls, aren't they? They're just tortured souls to a point beyond belief. So it's kind of really fun that it's like they get their comeuppance. You know, what goes around comes around or something. But here we go. So he's a he's so typical of the Mursaat 2. He's an elementalist, big magic caster, huge damage, and yeah, generally he's a really cool guy. But because we kill him here, there's really not much room for him to come back in the story in any way. It was a very specific set of circumstances that allowed Lazarus to return, and I don't really see that happening with any other Mursaat. I often talk about the Mursaat coming back into the story, but when I say this, somebody got a bit confused about my terming of this before. When I say this, when I'm talking about our other Mursaat that fled to the mists 1,000 years ago and haven't been on Tyria for oh so long. You'll notice over here as well that there seems to be something of a pathway here, but there's a lava pool in the middle. Well, that gets explained in the real final mission of the game, which happens in just a moment. So there you go, that's the final seal, the final defense. We are, if you look at the map, headed directly into the caldera of the volcano. where Vizil Kilbron is waiting for us. And he says, at last, the door of Komalie. Those seals hold back our allies. Break them and bring this fight to an end. So this is it. This is the end of the Mursaat. And you'll notice here, there are no Mursaat here. There are just 6 ether seals. That's it. This is a really, really important place to look at, okay? So, as this encounter progresses, this is almost like a boss fight. As this progresses, what we're going to see is random, like, NPC Mursaat come and try and attack us and stop us. But that's about it, okay? What you're looking at there, guys, is another chunk of the Bloodstone, as you can see. And we're actually right in the middle of the mouth of the volcano. This is all lava all around here. And around the Bloodstone in the middle are soul batteries. You see this? This is where the soul batteries get plugged in. And when they get plugged in, they keep charged this door. The door has the same looking shiny architecture, purplish coloring as all the other Mursaat stuff. And behind that is the portal. That's it right there. And the devs actually do some really fantastic stuff with the visual effects here that most players miss. And that's that as we break these ether seals, as we break the soul batteries to open the door, watch the door itself. So we're going to break one. And if you watch the door over on the left, up here, beyond the cursor, we're just going to try and watch it as closely as possible. You'll actually see, without doing any cutscenes, we broke chunks away there. See that? It fell away. And on the left, it fell away. Also, what happens when you release these seals is a bunch of spirits will come out, and these spirits attack you. That's really important. Think about the current raid stories, guys. Why do these spirits attack you? Way back when I played this, I just thought, oh, you know, they're just doing that because mechanics, right? Like, just whatever. They're doing it as a fight. But really, we just saved these souls. These are people who've been sacrificed by the Mursaat, and finally they're free. Why are they angry with us? Well, perhaps this is something to do with the Bloodstone madness that we're looking at in more recent patches, no? So there you go. We just got back attacked by a Mursaat there. And so the idea of this is we're supposed to break these seals. The more seals you break, the more of these guardians, these Mursaat guardians will come in, and the quicker they'll come in. Also, each one you break comes at a big risk to your party. Come on, guys, finish him off. Each one that you break comes at a big risk to your party because it's going to release a ton of ghosts. So you kind of want to keep a lid on it as best you can. You kind of want to time your killing of the seals to be somewhat in tandem, I would say, with these guardians coming in, so you don't get overwhelmed by all of them at once, and it's going to snowball out of control. So what I tend to like to do with current balance of the game is take out maybe just 3 seals or so, and then when you only have 3 seals left, run into the middle of them and just throw out a bit of damage on all. Just a little bit. Now, I did this the other day. I did the bonus and everything successfully just the other day, but hey, that didn't go very well. The ether seals will auto-attack. You see these orbs moving around? So there you go. My team just broke another one. And see how we have 2 guardians behind us right now? That's pretty bad. So we're going to move back because we've got 2 guardians to kill, and we have a bunch of ghosts here. Let's just make sure that we keep on top of this. And again, the ether seals regen a lot. So if you're going to do it the way I was trying, where you YOLO a lot, you really do have to YOLO. There, because I sort of wimped out. They both regened a lot. But hey, that's fine. So we'll just flag these guys in the middle. We got one more guardian up there who cast Spectral Agony on me. And here, we should just be able to burn both seals down at once. And with both burned down at once, you don't even have to kill the spirits. And that's it, guys. The door of Komalie is open.
Yield to the scepter of Or, I command you! It worked. Just as the prophecy said, it worked.
And uh-oh. they introduced the Titans. So there you go. It's not very impressive because one of the main mechanics of the Titans is that they survive after you kill them. This one won't. It's just going to die really fast. There you go. And that's going to be the end of the mission. But yeah, try to put yourself in the mind frame of when the game first came out, and that was a bit more threatening and scary. We are revealed that it's the Titans behind the door. Again, prophecies really didn't tell the story that well, let's be honest. But that's what it was like.
To Lion's Arch. To Thunderhead Keep. And you will go to Rin. Destroy them. Tyria will be mine, all mine.
And there you go. So the Vizier Kilbron is revealed to be the evil Lich that had been following us through most of the story. The first time we saw him was in a Crichton cutscene, I believe. Then we saw the little hint of him in the Southern Shivers as well. And we come to the real final mission of the game, Hell's Precipice. So the outpost location is where we just finished the mission, which I've always liked. And it's such a significant place. We're on a Bloodstone. If you guys ever want to get a feel for a Bloodstone or have a look at one or anything like that, really coming here in Guild Wars 1's the best place to do it. Not the one in the Maguma Jungle, because that's at the end of a long mission. You can just look at a Bloodstone straight away. I used to think for a long time this could be the Keystone, but I don't think there's very much precedent for that. You'll see it's sort of fused into the rock here, but I think that's mostly just because, hey, it's got lava all around it constantly. And there is the portal, as you can see, and we've got all these spirits flowing out. There is no door, and our quest now has shifted to reclosing this damn thing and stopping the Lich, who actually wants to destroy absolutely everywhere. You heard him talk about Rin a second ago. Rin, of course, is, at the time of this story, the capital of Ascalon and one of the last remaining strongholds. Well, sort of, it had been destroyed earlier in the story anyway, but then we recaptured it, even though it's rubble. So Jacob Salinger, a Crichton ghost, says, the Vizier has used you just as the Mursaat used my soul. What more do you need to know? Who are you? In life, my name was Jacob. I was one of the unlucky Chosen who were executed on the Bloodstone in the Maguma Jungle. How did you get here? Thousands of Chosen, just like me, were killed upon the Bloodstones. Our souls were captured inside the soul batteries and brought here to power the door of Komalie. That means that, yes, those spirits you fought after destroying the soul batteries were once Chosen, just like you, but time and their imprisonment has changed many of them. But not all of us were transformed into those hideous things. Some of us remained good and pure of heart. I wonder if this is the Bloodstone magic madness that we're going to see in Guild Wars 2. I wonder whether that's going to get explained why some of them remain good and pure of heart. And we are grateful to be free, but thanks to Vizier Kilbron's treachery, our release came with a price, the release of the Titans. What do you know of the Vizier? Well, before this, and this is finally where we learn about the Vizier, by the way. Before the Searing, he was the advisor to the King of Ur in all matters arcane. When the Char reached the borders of Ur, the Vizier delved into the sacred tombs beneath Arar, the city of the gods. There's probably Arar Explorable it's talking about there, guys. There he found and unfurled one of the forbidden scrolls. Reading the dark magic upon it, he managed to turn back the Char invasion, but at a great cost. Don't forget that Arar Explorable is all about how the gods took away artifacts and things relating to the Elder Dragons and sort of hid them all in those archives. The resulting explosion sank Ur into the sea and transformed the Vizier from a living being of flesh and bone into an undying Lich made of ichor and decay. Now that he possesses the Scepter of Ur, the Vizier can take control of the Titans. There is no army on Tyria powerful enough to defeat them. With such power, there is little that would stand in his way. What must we do? Well, we must catch that Lich, catch Vizier Kilbron, and stop him from using his power to destroy the world. I opened the door, now I'll put things right. You've made the right choice. Godspeed, and thank you for releasing me from my eternal torture. So we did some good. We saved some people, but we didn't do very much good. The mission outpost says the switchback route that runs along the ridge of Abaddon's mouth is known to any who have ventured here as Hell's Precipice. One look into the caldera of the furious volcano will explain why. Let's head on in, guys. Let's complete the game. This is it. So our objective is to stop the Lich from destroying the world, and to disable the Titan portals and to destroy the Lich. Now, one thing I always respected Guild Wars 1 for quite a lot was they actually designed unique special enemies for only this place in the game. Only here. So these are the Titans, as you can see here. Now, their gimmick is that when they die, they break into ash, and then they form new ones that are a tier lower. So the big warriors become necromancers, the necromancers become little warriors, as you can see here. And so if you kill them all in the wrong order, you can really suffer for it because you'll get surrounded by tons of hands and fists of the Titans. That's what they are. They come in two varieties, hands and fists. And actually, because enemies use player skills, sometimes it happens in Guild Wars 1 when they buff a player skill and it actually buffs enemies as well, which is quite appropriate for the Titans. So the Titans still can be a bit of a threat, even today, because like those little guys have like 100 blades and stuff, which can really hurt you. So here's the Lich. He says, "Ah, my friends, how nice of you to stick around." And then he teleports away. So he's sort of teasing us. There, as you can see, we've got... oh, and also the Necromancer Titans as well use a powerful Necromancer skill called Aura of the Lich, which means that they can summon a lot of stuff. Doesn't matter for our team comp, but still. So yeah, these are the Titans. We really don't get too much lore about them just yet. And it's important to point something out, okay? When Prophecies first came out, for those first few months, okay, what was actually going on was this was the only place you'd find the Titans. There's a quest chain that takes place after the end of the game called the Titan Quests, where you get to go see those Titans that the Vizier sent around the world. You go to Rin, or you go to Ascalon at least. You go to the Maguma Jungle again. You go to these places and you try to stop what his Titans have been doing. Now, that is a thing, but that didn't exist at the very release of Prophecies. So what actually happened at the very release of Prophecies, and as I say, that I respect quite a lot, is you had Titans only on this mission. These unique, cool enemy models and stuff, they held back from reusing these assets anywhere else in the game, and it really made this mission feel kind of, as I said, special. So I like that. So these things here, by the way, the sparks of the Titans, these things are bloody dangerous. They're probably the hardest things for my specific comp to have to deal with. Even though they're casters, one of their abilities is really short, quick cast time. And as a result, it can sort of blow my team up super, super, super fast because they won't catch it for interrupts soon enough. So we have to be careful of that. And also remember, don't just kill a large burning Titan and then walk away from it thinking, oh, I'm all done here, because always new ones will spawn out of them. It's a shame because for all the other parts of this little series here, I've been able to zoom through super fast with insanely quick kill times. But you can't do that with the Titans because you have to kill them and then wait, and then kill them and then wait, and then you kill them, and then you can move. So here you get a Titan boss. He's called Scalius Prosum. Again, I think they use Latin names for these guys. A bit like Optimus Caliph had. I think it's just to sort of suggest a lot of age on them, that's all. Moving around this corner after slaying a fair number of Titans. Oh, was that a worm about to pop up on me? Hopefully you get some perspective from this second video, by the way, just how rare the worms are. You'll find that we have an Ancient Seer, and the Seer is also fighting the Titans. Now, the Seers have been helping us throughout this. The question is, did they know about the Titans? Presumably not. But we get to communicate with this one. This one, again, they're unclear whether this is the same one we found in the Shivers and so forth. I think the way that they've structured it suggests that it is the same character. It's just sort of an ally that we've got. And they introduce us to another facet of the story that maybe Guild Wars 2 is going to refer to also. And those are the Armageddon Lords. So by clicking this one says, unchecked, the Titans will rend Tyria asunder. Stopping the Lich is the only real way to defeat them, but there is more to this problem than you know. Among the Titan Horde are the champions, the Armageddon Lords. If they are not stopped, these demons will surely bring an end to both man and beast. Most likely the Lords will be the last ones through the portals that have been opened. So the Vizier's opened a bunch of portals. We already saw that you could teleport around a lot. He's opened a bunch of portals and he's sending his Titans through. And now, by speaking with that Seer, we learn of the Armageddon Lords, and our choice now is if we kill those as well. I believe the Armageddon Lords may make a return visit, or appearance, should I say, in Nightfall, when you get into the Realm of Torment itself, and you find a lot more Titans in there, new varieties of Titans and stuff. But for this mission, it's actually a pretty comfortable bonus, really. It's just kill 4 extra creatures. Last little stretch here now, guys. There, the Lich is saying the Mursaat are being quickly swept away, as will all those who stand before my legion. Soon you will all be crushed. And you'll notice, actually, that a lot of the Mursaat dying to the Titans, that part of the story, it's actually happening off-screen. There's even reason to believe maybe that most of them were killed by the player character. I don't really think that's what the devs have been setting up. But you can maybe suggest that, especially with the War in Kryta, and you see there's a couple more even than you realise survived, and then we end up killing those. But yeah, it's mostly off screen, but that's what's happening right now in the timeline. That's what's happening. There, our last look at the southern seas. These are the last little areas of the Fire Island chain now, guys. You've seen pretty much all of it. And you'll notice in this large flat area here that we have 4 portals down on the beach over there. 1 to each of the big locations. And then there are 4 Armageddon Lords here responsible for spawning extra creatures, okay? Extra Titans. And the Titans will keep charging into those portals. So our job right now is to wade out into that lava and kill the Armageddon Lords. Being out in the lava was, I guess, back at the launch of the game, a lot of extra pressure on us. So it would be a bit harder. But we don't have to worry too much these days, not with things like fallback. I think they're each a different class. No, they're all fire Ellies as well. So presumably big nukes and stuff. There's some classic lava font action there. And finally, I thought there were 4 Armageddon Lords. I guess there were only 3 in the end. And finally, we kill the last Lord. And there you go. That's the bonus. Really as simple as that. And if we're quick enough, we move away. We don't even have to aggro the new one that's going to spawn. So voila. So now we just go for the mission itself. We got to destroy these portals. I do love the way these portals look. It's a nice little touch. You can actually see where their destinations are on the inside. And you'll notice that they're actually being maintained by portal wraiths. These aren't really creatures we've seen on the Fire Island chain or anywhere nearby. And the reason for that is because the wraiths are undead that are associated with Vizier Kilbron. These are Kilbron's minions. They're nothing to do with the Mursaat. They're nothing to do with the Titans. Or the dwarves, or even us necessarily. So that's why we haven't really seen any of them. It's more Kilbron stuff. And Kilbron, the Undying Lich, has been a bit more distant and cagey since we got here. He's helped us get through with that powerful enchantment stuff, but then he's just teleported away and sort of kept to himself. And there we go. I never actually managed to kill one of the bosses there. But with all the portals destroyed, we move into the final boss fight.
This meddling is nothing more than a minor annoyance. You're only delaying the inevitable. Thanks to you, I command an army powerful enough to conquer all of Tyria. And now I intend to use it. But before I go, I have someone here you might like to talk to. Perhaps this will slow you down long enough to let me finish my work. Rurik? I'll leave you to get reacquainted. I'm sure you have much to talk about. I am the Flame Seeker. All of Tyria shall bow to me or be destroyed.
Ah, so there you go. You get kind of a reveal there, at least according to the Lich himself. The Flame Seeker in the Flame Seeker prophecies was him.
Forgive me. It is not my will to fight you, but I have little choice in the matter.
The flame being the Titans. He seeks the Titans. Okay, so this bit's pretty scary. I'm going to move us back here. because we're going to get attacked by about 1 million different small titans here. And on top up there, we've got some very powerful elementalist ones also that we have to be very careful of. Oh my god, my team's amazing. They just nuked the crap out of all of them. Oh, that was brilliant. Oh, okay, never mind. Wow, wow, that worked so well. That worked far too well for its own right. So here's the return of Prince Rurik. I'm sure a lot of people really liked that. Looking at it these days, it seems like a really cheesy, sudden reintroduction, but this was a big moment. That was like, if there was ever such a thing as a spoiler in Guild Wars 1, it was that Rurik came back to life. Without a doubt, that was like the spoiler. That was the main thing that everyone, you know, would talk about in map chat and then get mad at each other if someone had revealed it slightly too early. Oh my god, see, look at the damage the entire team takes. Well, they're already dead, so that's good. Rurik comes back. This is his final resting place. This is hugely important right now, guys, for Guild Wars 2. Hugely important, because what is he wielding right now? He's got Sahothin. That is Sahothin. This somehow will end from here. We're going to kill Rurik, and the sword is going to stay at his side. We're going to leave it here, and somehow Ritlock's going to get it. In 250 years space, Ritlock will randomly have it. And Ritlock's a big part of the story right now, and Ritlock is going to be in the next patch. This area we're currently stood with this cutscene, we have to come back here at some point. And Ritlock's got some serious explaining to do. Because we do not take the sword.
Listen to me. The door of Komalie must be closed. Kill the Lich while he stands atop the Bloodstone inside the caldera. If you do this, his spirit will recharge the soul batteries, and the door will close again. You have served Ascalon well. I beg of you, do one last duty for your prince.
Anything, my prince.
End my misery. Release me from the Lich's spell.
If that is what you wish.
That bit of the cutscene works much better if you have a melee weapon. So remember in the previous mission, I showed you that path that looks like it should be a path, but there was lava in the middle?
Travel well, Prince Rurik, until we meet you again in the Hall of Heroes.
Well, this is it, you see. So we're actually going to go back to where we were in the previous mission. We're still in Hell's Precipice, but we've gone back to Abaddon's Mouth territory now. And we're going back to where this all started. We're going back into the caldera, back to the Bloodstone to kill the Lich. And the idea is because the Lich himself has consumed so many souls throughout his life and has been a big manipulator of souls, just like the Mursaat, perhaps. Because of this, see, this would have been a great moment to have a couple of Mursaat dying to Titans, maybe, or something. But because of that, every time we kill him, many of those souls will get released, go back into the batteries, and we can reclose the door. So there are a few things they don't explain, like, okay, why if the Titans are just tormented souls, why is it when we kill Titans it doesn't recharge the batteries and stuff like that? But maybe those things don't have to quite be fully explained. But yeah, so a couple of big reveals. This area specifically, is this going to be the Guild Wars 2 jumping puzzle place? I don't think so, right? I don't think we're going to come to this volcano, to this place immediately. And what's going to happen in the story in a second is it's going to erupt, and that sword we just left on the floor back there is going to get buried. So what does all of that mean? I don't know. And this is what I'm really looking forward to. When I'm stood here in Guild Wars 2 in, I don't know, next week or whenever they eventually put it in there, I will be a very, very happy man. So this is the final boss fight, guys. No word of a lie. Right here, this is the final boss. The Undead Lich, for some reason, is all the way over on this pathway here. And we're going to kill him. So the Undead Lich really isn't that impressive for a boss. I don't know how our composition will do against him. It's quite curious to me. We've got a couple of Titans with him here. But basically, we're going to kill him multiple times. And as I kill him, I'm going to try to view the door over here, so you can watch it recharge in the middle of the fight, which is very, very awesome. So here we go. Really underwhelming final boss fight. I meant it at the start of these little videos here. In many ways, the hardest part of the game was... Oh, there we go. So we killed him once. Bunch of spirits come out. He teleports off into the lava. And comes back to life after we kill him. It should work that way. It should be that each time we kill him, a bunch of soul batteries reappear. And then he teleports into the lava and he comes back to life. And then you kill him and then he comes back to life. And then you kill him and he comes back to life. Ah, the visual effect's not working anymore? Or am I just sort of... Or have we not got to that point yet? We shall see. But yeah, we can do so much damage to him here that he can't even do anything. He starts casting when he gets back in the middle, but... Christ, I mean, we're just absolutely blowing him up. Oh, there you go. So there's one death. And see, 2 cell batteries came back. And look at the portal. Look at the portal. Look at that. It's slowly rebuilding. Look at how cool that is. So that spawns some titans as well when he does it. So you want to retarget just to kill the titans for a second there. And see, the portal is closing once again. And he's getting wounded. There's no voice acting or anything from him as this happens. This could be so good if it got remastered. And I guess we'll go again. Really, I should just be spamming Westrel's Worry here, but hey. I think he actually can't do anything anymore because he's out of energy. I think we've got him completely drained of energy. This is funny. Yeah, he can't do anything. He's using no skills. There you go. 2 more soul batteries. And there you go. With the final death, the game is complete. And that, guys, is the Fire Island chain. I'll let us watch the final cutscene where the volcano erupts, the Scepter of Ore teleports away, Glint escorts us to safety, and we go to that dock we saw before. And that's what it was, guys. This is the entirety of the content. I'm very curious to see what they'll do in Guild Wars 2. Thanks for watching these videos, guys. I'll let you close it out on the cutscene. And until next time, everyone, I'll catch you later.
Long into the season of the Scion, Tyria is revived again. Over the bones of the bird of prey, the fire is put out and the diabolic gathering is closed off once again. The Flameseeker prophecies are now complete. The door of Komalie is closed, and the Titans are once again safely locked away behind it. You have saved Tyria, but now you must also save yourselves. The volcano is about to erupt. There is a ship in the dock, just inside the Mursaat stronghold. Unless you wish to suffer the same fate as Vizier Kilbron, then I suggest you make a run for it. Your deeds have earned you a place among the heroes of legend. Let us hope today is not the day your spirit joins those ensconced in the hall.